Just the greatest moment, the greatest crash out, I think, in PPA history, in my opinion, is when Jericho's playing against James and CJ, and he's like, "This is unbelievable! You guys are a joke!" He's like, "Not you, CJ, but him."
You guys are unbelievable! You guys are a joke! Not you, CJ, but he is!
My gosh, he just storms off the court in the Masters on match point. This award goes out to who had the biggest crash out or blow up or non-play altercation of the year.
If you're looking for a chill way to wind down after your rec game, listen up. Cycling Frog is giving away its best-selling THC seltzers for free. All you have to do is pay $2 for shipping. They're fruit-forward, taste great, and they're perfect for a post-game cool-down or just hanging out with friends. So grab your free can now by clicking the link in the description box. You're not going to want to miss this.
Welcome back to the PicklePod. This week we have T-Dog. We're going to talk about everything that happened in Salt Lake City, including the ramifications for the playoffs. We had some crazy heckling fans. We also had Wang Yun back in action over in India. We had the announcement of the Lifetime Ball as the official ball of the PPA, as well as the announcement that we have a brand new Major League Pickleball team. Christian Alshon got benched. Like, honestly, kind of a meaningless weekend in terms of standings and whatnot for MLP, but lots of stuff going on. And then we also have Nico the Lefty back from Twitter to talk about a bunch of nonsense. A lot of fun nonsense. It was some good stuff. Definitely worth sticking around for the Ben Johns Teammate of the Year award, the Leia Jansen We're Just Here for a Good Time, Not a Long Time award, and the Jericho Grohlman You Guys Are a Joke award. So those were definitely worthwhile sticking around for. Yeah. And now we're going to kick it off with Erik Tice, the T-Dog. All right. Welcome back to the pod. Tice, Erik Tice, a regular at this point, a weekly segment with Tice where we break down all the happenings in pro pickleball. And honestly, this weekend didn't have a ton going on, but somehow we still have a ton to talk about. So where do you want to start with this weekend at MLP Salt Lake City?
Yeah. So last regular season event of the year, right? And it was exciting. It was at the same venue that hosted last year. It seemed a little bit better, seemed a little bit bigger. Like the build out was a little bit bigger. Did you notice anything there, Zane?
Yeah, they fixed some of the spacing issues around grandstand. Yeah, I think that was the biggest problem last year. I didn't really notice anything with like lighting or anything. Obviously, last year that was the big problem was the lighting afterwards with Colin's letter coming out and whatnot, and you know that was back in the forefront. But I didn't have a problem last year. I didn't have a problem this year. So
got it. Yeah, I did hear a couple players had some problems. I wouldn't say that was the majority of players. Like you said, I think it was maybe a problem for some, but not a lot. Let's start with
then again,
Top Black Diamonds.
I didn't play T-Dog, so maybe I don't have a leg to stand on.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. You said that.
It seems perfect out there. Like, I mean, I can recognize decent lighting. I've played in enough conditions to know when it's going to be good or not.
Yeah.
So,
right. Let's talk about the Utah Black Diamonds going 4-1 at their home event. They played really well with Etta. They had obviously a new teammate. Etta, this is the first time she's playing with them. They played great. Go 4-1 and lock up a playoff spot pretty easily. And then we'll get to it in a bit, but there was a little bit of a weird situation on Sunday. So Saturday was super intriguing to me, and I think a lot of people, because there was a bunch of playoff implications on the line on Saturday. Like player or teams clinched playoff spots, they clinched playoff seeds, and all of that happening. On Sunday, none of that happened. It was all kind of already determined. So Sunday was a little weird.
Sunday felt like, to me, I described it as, it felt like the last day of school before summer break somehow or another.
Oh, that's good.
Like
that's good.
It just felt like nothing that happens today really matters. Obviously, we've got the playoffs in like a couple of weeks, but it felt like the last day of school before summer break. I felt like that was an accurate description.
Now, here's the deal. Since we're on the subject, I think this is good to talk about. For Premier, I 100% agree. We had some subs. ALW was the number one cheerleader of the weekend on Sunday. But in Challenger, kudos to Jimmy Miller and the California Black Bears. Started off the event in 5th, went 5-0, in the event and moved all the way up from 5th, not even being able to pick who their opponent is in the Challenger playoffs, to 3rd, jumped over Bay Area, and in the last match jumped over DC. So they will get to pick their first opponent, which will obviously be the Florida Smash. So kudos to them for a big win on Sunday, which you may not have noticed.
I did not, but kudos to them.
Yep.
I have a very difficult time following Challenger during the regular season because they all play each other 5 times and then they just do it again in the playoffs. So this is nothing against the teams or the players, but like when they play the exact same schedule every single weekend, it just seems respectfully pointless for me to watch. Like, look, that is not a statement about the quality of the players. If there were 10 Challenger teams and they only played each other once or twice during the season, I'd probably pay more attention. But when it happens 5 times, like it seems the regular season seems pointless to me.
Yep, a little bit. Yeah. Also, okay, so we talked about the Black Diamonds. They look good. They look dangerous, to be honest. Like they do look like they could upset a team in the playoffs.
Yeah, but who are they gonna upset? Like, I think they could upset the Squeeze in the matchup that they have. So obviously, like the Squeeze are gonna end up playing the Black Diamonds again. The Ranchers are gonna choose the Miami Pickleball Club in that match. But I just don't. I could see the Squeeze. I could see the Black Diamonds actually beating the Squeeze potentially, but I just cannot see them beating a top 6 team in that next round of the playoffs. Can you?
No, yeah. I'm with you. I'm saying they look dangerous. They could upset one team in that especially that first round. The playing round is just one match, right? Like I don't see them beating a top 4 team twice out of 3 times for sure. But they do look dangerous. I like the way like their energy is good, all of that. Now, let's talk about that matchup though. Utah versus Orlando happened on Sunday, and Utah absolutely demolished Orlando, almost double pickled. They did pickle in one game and almost double pickled in a second. To me, that one looked so. Connor Pardo came on halfway in that like little halftime interview thing, and he was like, we talked to our team. Did we want to kind of hold our cards and then, keep it kind of close to the vest of like what our strategies are, or do we want to go play? The team said they wanted to play, and so they said they went out and wanted to dominate, and it looked like the Orlando Squeeze took the opposite end of that spectrum, and it looked like they did not care whatsoever. Now, is that not caring because it's the last day of school, like Zane is saying? Probably. But also, if you're Orlando and you already know what your strategy is going to be against Utah, maybe you try a couple of things, but you don't show them any sort of your real strategy, and then you beat them in the playoffs. So it was a little bit of a weird dynamic there.
Yeah, that is tough. Like it's hard. You got competitors who it's very hard to like not show what you want to do and be on the court and not play optimally. I didn't watch any of that match. I didn't pay attention to anything that happened on Sunday, to be honest, other than the match that we were a part of, which was actually a ton of fun against the Orlando Squeeze and Grayson Golden.
Man,
yeah,
that guy is entertaining.
He was very entertaining, hitting absolute rocket ships. But I chatted about that with Nico a little bit as well. So, yeah. So, I think we're going to see that rematch. It's hard to get up for a match that is just meaningless, respectfully.
Right,
so.
right. The other big winner of the event, which is debatable, but Wyatt Stone played unbelievable, balled out, and the Ranchers were like, it's close to overtaking LA for that 6th spot. Came up just short with Wyatt Stone and Erik and Tina and KK. So kudos to the Ranchers. Like they played really well this weekend with very low expectations with Wyatt subbing in for Christian. So overall, I thought their run was spectacular.
Yeah, agreed. I think even with Christian, it was going to be a difficult task to overtake the Mad Drops and take that 6th spot. But they ended up with a bunch of regulation wins, a Dreambreaker win, and then they were about to get up 2-0 on Atlanta, which would have probably meant that they would end up taking home that 6th spot. They split and go to a Dreambreaker, and then then that just doesn't matter afterwards. Because they didn't have enough points to surpass them. But yeah, Christian being benched last regular season event of the year is a very, very bold strategy. We don't know why exactly he was benched, but benched nonetheless. And, we don't know whether it was for rest purposes, whatever. But no Christian when
Yeah,
we had
I
some stuff on
don't.
the line was wild.
Yeah, I don't have much insight there. I tried to get some and couldn't really. I have no idea what's going on there. I think he is playing in San Diego in the playoffs. I'm fairly confident in that, but not 100% confident in that. I don't know.
Yeah, me and Christian just warming it up on the bench over here.
And then
Um,
Christian is not playing Bristol because he was supposed to be playing with Kwong, and obviously Kwong is no longer allowed to play PPA. So I don't think Christian's playing Bristol either.
oh, interesting. Well, speaking of Kwong or Wang, he was
Mhm.
playing in Maharashtra, India at the Monsoon Open. Did you catch any of those results?
I saw that he double crowned. I'm very happy that you pronounced that city in India. But yes, I did see that he double crowned at the Monsoons, which is easily, in my mind, is easily a top three, if like single standalone event in international pickleball. Like it's one of the
Probably.
mainstays. It's probably the third or fourth
Yeah,
year
yeah,
of
I
this.
would guess so. We got the English Open coming up this week, but that's kind of an APP event, right? Or APP sort of sanctioned. Yeah,
Yep.
Monsoon Open seems to be one of the bigger ones. His only loss was to Megan and Ryler in the final. Just like I wonder what is the point of running these events if they're not going to be put up on YouTube anywhere? I don't even know if there was a way to watch any of it. I haven't seen it
I
anywhere.
To be honest, I there's only so much bandwidth I have over the weekend, and I just couldn't even. I didn't even try to find it. Usually they do have it live streamed somewhere because that's a global sports, I think, initiative. And if it is, then
Yeah.
they definitely do live stream some stuff. So I'm sure, but it's very difficult to find it here, to be honest. Like usually it's like, well, let's basically you need to know somebody at the event that can send you a link to like find it to stream.
Yeah, no, I was trying to find it. I didn't, you know, spend a
Yeah.
tremendous amount of time trying, but could not. I am
So
seeing it.
yeah, that
I'm finding it on YouTube now, like the
got it.
streamed portion of things. So it is out there. It was hard to find, but it happened, and Wang Yun
Yep.
was back, and it feels like pretty quickly this feels like the wrong decision. Like that felt like his making his return. It felt like completely overshadowed by a meaningless MLP event.
Can't can't disagree with you there. A bunch of these non UPA signed players have a very busy 3-week travel schedule because a lot of the players that normally play on the APP tour played in the Monsoon. They're flying to England for the English Open, and then they're flying home to the States for the Great Lakes APP in 2 weeks, which is the same time as MLP playoffs. So those players are getting some of those rewards miles in there for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Another off of the court announcement that we had was the lifetime ball announcement
Yep.
as the official ball of the PPA, not the official ball of MLP. Thought that was interesting.
Yep.
Alongside, obviously we had Lydia on the podcast from Lifetime last week talking about their new tournament that they're running.
Yep.
Um, more big things from Lifetime there.
For
So
sure.
seems like the majority of pros like the lifetime ball is what I'm gathering.
Yeah, from what I've heard, players are kind of just like, "Yeah, it's good. Don't love that it bounces up so high, but it is what like it's a true bounce, so we like that part." It basically it's not a terrible ball. I think both the Vulcan ball and the new Lifetime ball are good, and so it's like, "Okay, can we deal with this?" Yes, is basically what it is. No one's like outraged that this is that we're using the Lifetime ball.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. What else did we have? What else do you want to talk about, T-Dog?
Let me pull up my thing here quick. Sorry, should have had that up.
That's
Okay,
embarrassing.
what's that?
Nothing.
Okay. Let's real quick, let's talk about official MLP awards. Okay. I'm going to jump on a soapbox for a minute and a half, and then we can get off of my soapbox.
You can have the floor. I'm going to leave.
Okay, great. I know that you talked about MLP awards with Nico, but in talking with the league, just for the audience's purposes, the official Jim Kloss top pro teams or whatever, all pro teams, whatever he's calling them, those are not official league results of any sort of awards from the league or anything like that. So they're Jim Kloss's, which are very good, and he's definitely entitled to his own opinion, but they are not in any way, shape, or form associated with the league, because I talked to league officials and made sure to ask about that situation. Now, with that being said, the league is having actual league awards at the end of the year. They are MVP so it's male MVP, female MVP, male most improved, and female most improved in both premier and challenger level. Now, the league did ask the media to nominate players for that, and we all in the media, if you were asked, had to get the league your nominees by today. So I had to nominate 3 players in each of those categories for premier and 2 players in each of those categories for challenger. Then they're taking the nominations and making it a fan, media, and front office type of league vote, so that we can actually name a male and a female MVP, all of those. So those will be league sanctioned events for regular season at the end of the year. Okay, Soapbox is done. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you for the platform.
we talked about it. I was like, Kloss has got to be joking about the official UPA approved. So that was obviously a little bit of a troll.
I think he thinks it's official. It's not official from the league. I confirmed with the league, so I don't know what to tell you.
Okay. Maybe that was a troll. I don't know.
I will say, even in the nomination process, like I take these things very seriously. I take my role in the media in pickleball very seriously. I do as much research as I can. Like, it was very difficult to do those nominations, because at the end of the day, some of them I was like, how do I put 3 people in here? Like, there should be 4 or 5. So that was very difficult. I'm hoping that we get some really good options in the actual real league-wide awards.
Okay, so basically you just wanted to clarify that Jimmy's out of line. Jimmy's out of pocket right now.
They are his official awards. They're just not related to the UPA
I love
or MLP.
Your professional dissenting opinion on that. That's good stuff.
Yes.
Well, do we have any idea when those are coming out? Is it after playoffs or what?
I do think it'll be after playoffs, because we just got it to the league today, which is Monday. So like, I can't imagine the league is going to turn around and just give everybody voting. So I think it'll be a little while.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, between now and then, we have Bristol this week. Bristol PPA. To me, I don't know. I'm curious what you think. I'm in MLP mode right now, so I don't like. This just seems like an afterthought before MLP playoffs.
Yeah, I think so. In between like the start of the MLP season and the end of the finals, right? There's 3 PPA tournaments. One was Atlanta. One was Orange County Cup. Atlanta was a slam. Orange County Cup. And Bristol is just an open. I believe it's because they already signed a contract for a date and blah, blah, blah. You can't like move that stuff after figuring that out. So are you playing in that?
I am not. No.
Yeah, I checked for your name on the brackets I saw, and I didn't see it, so I figured you were not.
I can't believe anybody is checking for my name in the brackets.
I'm your guy, bud. I'm your guy. But yeah, I mean, that travel is not ideal. Utah, Tennessee, back to San Diego. That's going to be a little bit rough for some of those players.
And then to New York.
Jeez, yeah. So I'm not.
And then to Las Vegas.
Is that the week after? There's no way that's the week after.
That is the week after.
Oh my goodness, you guys.
Yeah,
I think that was a really good decision by you to skip this Bristol one, because otherwise you're going like however many events in a row.
That would have been crazy. I think that would have been crazy. But yeah, so I don't have much to add about Bristol. I'm sure some interesting stuff is going to happen.
Do you want to
lifetime
ball? Do you want to talk? Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, all you.
Do you want to talk quick about like how the playoffs work, or do you think we're good there?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's give everybody a very succinct like what to look forward to on the playoffs, and then I think we'll probably talk about the new MLP team, and then we'll call it a day.
Cool, sounds good. So let's talk about how the playoffs work. I just want to make sure everybody knows. So the first round of the play, I'm going to talk about Premier. Actually, I can talk about Challenger too really quick. Challenger is the first 2 teams get a bye. The 3rd seed, which is the California Black Bears, are going to choose the 6th seed Florida Smash. And then DC is going to end up playing Bay Area in that first round. one match, whoever wins. Okay, and then they'll go to New York after that. So Premier level, we have 10 teams in Premier level. 7 through 10 is in the first round or play-in round, whatever you want to call it. 7 chooses 10, 8 chooses 9, and they're playing. So it will probably be Ranchers versus Miami and Orlando versus Utah. That's one match, and the better seed gets home court advantage, so they get to choose everything. Okay. After that, that's on Friday in San Diego in 2 weeks or a week and a half. After that, the 1 seed, which is St. Louis, so now those 2 win. Now we have 8 teams left. Those get reseeded as 7 and 8. And then St. Louis picks their team. Then the Dallas Flash picks.
St. Louis can pick any of the 5, 6, 7, or 8 seeds. They'll most likely pick the 7 or 8 seed, one of those teams they'll almost certainly pick one of the teams that came through the play-in.
Yep. And then the Dallas Flash get to pick whoever they didn't. And again, same thing, 5, 6, 7, or 8. And the Dallas Flash will likely choose either, or they'll just choose whoever the first round winner was that St. Louis didn't choose.
Mm-hmm.
Then we get to the New Jersey Fives. They
where
get to choose.
we'll have a choice most likely between our choice will be between Columbus and LA.
Yep.
And then Brooklyn, the number 4 seed.
Yep.
Yeah, they get whomever is left.
Now, in those 4 matches, each match is best 2 out of 3. Here's how it breaks down. The first 2 matches, by the way, please do not shoot the messenger. I'm just telling you what the league rules are. I didn't make up any of these rules. First 2 matches, the better seed gets home court advantage in those first 2 matches. So they get to choose reaction and mix, reaction and dream breaker, all that stuff. If it gets to a 3rd seed, this is the protocol. If it gets to a 3rd match in there, this is the protocol. There is a coin toss. The coin toss determines who is home and who is away. The home team gets to pick reaction and mix, reaction and dream breaker, reaction and whatever. So there's a very good chance the better seed could get to choose all 3 in all 3.
Yeah, I'm not shooting the messenger, but like you're playing 2 out of 3. Why not have the higher seed be the home team in the first game, the away team be the home team, or the lower seed be the home team in the second, and the higher seed be the home team in the third? That's exactly how it's done in every other sport, pretty much.
Yeah, so I think I think 2 things are wrong with that one. First, too much logic being used. Second, it, like you said, it's that way in almost every other sport. So why wouldn't we do that? I'm with you. I'm trying to say I'm with you. I don't understand, but it is what it is. I still do like playoffs, best 2 out of 3. I like that. I think it could be way better in terms of logistics, but who cares? After that, we got 4 winners. Those 4 winners go to New York for the semis and the finals. So that's how the playoffs work.
Is there a 3rd place? I hope not. I feel like real sports you should play for 3rd place.
To be honest, I don't know the answer to that. Is there any prize money on the line? I don't know the answer to that. Like, you ask a good question. I thought I asked the league all the questions I wanted to ask. Apparently I missed one. I'll try to get that going.
You're last.
Yeah.
Ricky Bobby.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to the playoffs. I'm actually going to be in San Diego the entire time. I'm super excited about that. So I'm hoping to catch some of that. Although I do have a really late drive back Sunday night if I do stay the whole time. So I may not stay the whole time. We'll see.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, yeah, we got some interesting stuff heading into the playoffs. I'm sure you and I are going to be very active for the playoffs. A little bit of a rest weekend here with Bristol, but yeah, T-Dog. Maybe we'll even do something in person on Sunday. Who knows?
Ooh!
The world is our oyster. The pickleball world is our oyster, T-Dog.
Yep.
All right, Erik. Thanks for coming on the pod. A little bit of an off week next week, but I'm sure there'll be plenty of stuff to talk about with Bristol. And yeah, appreciate you coming on, dude.
All right, sounds good.
All right, Nico the Lefty, welcome back to the pod, dude. You got a pod setup, still that ugly haircut you got there, but it's a good new setup. Chris Callie is going to probably give you a C on the setup. It's the background is not ideal, but welcome back to the pod. We're going to just talk kind of just a bunch of random crap. The floor is yours, Nico the Lefty.
All right. Well, I'll tell you, Zane. So since the last time I've been on, and I've known for being on Twitter a lot, right? Nico the Lefty on Twitter, and I decided, all right, kind of like what I look like on video, so I'll do TikTok and Instagram, and maybe I'll do some more of the stuff with you on the pod. And if there's one thing that I've learned, besides the fact that I need a haircut, is that everybody thinks I look like Nacho Libre. So if you're
You
watching
just
this,
learned that? Like, what is
yeah,
going on?
I just learned this, like, because I've never actually seen the movie Nacho Libre. But
It's
immediately,
crazy.
right before this pod, I was like, can I get an emergency haircut? Maybe I'll do something completely different. So like a high and tight, so that people don't think I look like Nacho Libre. But I'll take it.
No, I think you gotta own the look. I think you just own the look.
Yeah, I mean, this is one guy, from one guy that has an interesting hair situation to another. So, but no, thanks
I
for having me
cleaned mine
on.
up. I
Yeah,
cleaned
you
mine up.
did.
Come on. Grow up. Those were dark times. How dare you, honestly? How dare you bring that back up?
I thought it might have just been like me, or maybe it was like an ongoing joke. But my wife saw a TikTok of you, and immediately she's like, "What's happening with this hair right here?" And so, but glad you
I
cleaned it up.
think
So,
nothing unified pro pickleball or just the entire pickleball community more than dislike for my haircut when I try to grow the hair out.
yeah, probably. But everybody loves the clean cut Zane, and I think actually everybody likes Nacho Nico Libre. So, but yeah. So thanks for having me on, Zane. I got a bunch of questions for you. The MLP season just ended, at least the regular season ended, and so kind of want to go over some things with you, what you liked, what you didn't like, who was playing, fantastic, who wasn't. But one thing, speaking of unifying kind of everybody, is I have this thought, I can't get it out of my head, that the MLP needs Thanos. So let me explain here. So what I mean by that is, so if you watch the Avengers, if you're a nerd like me, right, you've seen Endgame and Infinity Wars. Thanos, his whole stick, right? He's this bad guy that wants to wipe out half of the universe, right? But the reason he wants to do this is because there's not enough resources throughout all of the universe to sustain life for everybody. So he thinks, I'm going to be merciful and I'm going to wipe out half of the people with a snap of my fingers. And after the season was over, I think I want Thanos to come in, snap his fingers, and wipe out half of MLP. So what I mean by that is, do we have too many teams? We're adding even more teams. We got 6 players on a team. Like, do we have enough talent? Do we have too many players? Like, it seemed like maybe only half of the matches really mattered in MLP. So I'm gonna go ahead and call for Thanos to come in next year, snap his fingers, and try to eliminate half of MLP.
I mean, this year, the storyline of the entire year was like the haves and have-nots of this year. Like, it was from the beginning, it was incredibly predictable how lopsided this league was going to be this year. But I don't think it's a matter of too many teams. I think that the talent supports the premier teams, but the incentives don't, right? Like, look, last year, what did we have? 12 premier teams, and the Black Diamonds were like the laughing stock of last year. And if you look at the Black Diamonds, they were going to be in the playoffs this year with basically the exact same team, right? So last year, the Black Diamonds was, I believe, Alex Trong, Callie Smith, Connor, and Tyler. Like, that's a top 10. That's definitely a top 8, 9 team this year. Like, last year, you had Arizona finished second to last. That was Andre, Dylan, Lacey, and was it Caitlin? Like,
Caitlin, Jesse, for part
Jesse.
of it, I think. Yeah.
Those are
She,
good teams
yeah.
this year. I don't think it's a matter of too many teams. I think it's a matter of concentration in the top 8. Now, pretty much all of the top female players are on top 8 teams, and like a good chunk of the top men's players are in the top 8 teams. So what is
Yeah.
your vote? Are you voting for getting rid of teams or what?
Yeah, you know what? So what's tough is that I think that, if I were to take all the teams in MLP and split them in Challenger and Premier, I think you have like a really good concentration of players that are in the right level, right? And so what's hard is like, I don't necessarily want to see Georgia and Tyra lay the smackdown on 2 people that I might not have ever heard of. I don't want to throw names out because I don't want to offend anybody. But there's some tough matches, right? And so you get like these like feel good, like Rudy stories of some of these people that just really can't compete. And so I want to see a match where everybody can win. And so, even if you look at like the NFL or the NBA, right? Throughout history, you have some really historically bad teams. But on any given day, I think any of those teams could beat another team in the league. And sometimes I'm looking at the Hustlers, or SoCal, and I'm thinking, will you ever be able to beat any of these top 8 teams? I don't know. So that's my biggest question. But I think what'll be good though is
yeah, but Nico, like the problem isn't like the problem was last year the Hustlers were a good team and they decided to tank. They decided to get rid of their good team of Jack Sock was decent last year, Leia, CJ Klinger, and Jackie Kawamoto. Like that's a good team. Now you've got, Zane Ford, Steven Madonia, Donald Young, who's hurt, Helena Jansen, and Dominique Schaefer. Like, they didn't try to replace that team. It's not that the talent doesn't exist. It's that the teams are choosing to just not pay for talent.
Yeah, and I guess, so then what is the incentive? So the way I'm thinking about it is this, is like, with the teams having to give up some players, and I think, the rules and the kind of format is so murky for me and for like the average fan that it's hard to follow, but my understanding,
Don't worry,
for
it's
example,
kind of murky for us too. You got to be on your toes, dude.
like it sounds like the Shock have to give up one of their 3 players that aren't Kate Fahey at the end of the year. So like I'm trying to follow what this looks like, but for me, it seems like it's a difficult one for those teams teams at the bottom to try to put together a competitive team. But also, if you have to recycle your players, like, are we going to do a complete redraft in a couple of years? Is the Shock, they're going to build all of this like goodwill and fan base, and they're like Anna Bright, rah team. And then in 2 years, the team is completely different. I don't think anybody's going to necessarily be tied to the Shock. So, like, I remember 2 years ago, there was this really cool team that everybody loved, right? The Orlando Squeeze. They had Anna Bright, they had Andre Diescu, they had Rachel Rohrbacher, and I don't remember who the other person was that they had. Somebody on Challenger. No, I don't. Do you remember who they were? Who was it?
Not at all. Not at all. Let me just put on my championship Orlando Squeeze ring right here. Maybe this will look at this. A mean guy. I don't even know what finger to put this on, to be honest. But yeah, maybe that'll jog your memory there, Nico.
Wow, I did not know that they gave championship rings out.
They don't. We made it.
That is so on brand, and it's not something that I wouldn't do either. I definitely have made myself fantasy football championship rings as well. So that team was so awesome, and everybody loved them. Like, there's no doubt in my mind that was like the number 1 fan favorite team of all of MLP by a significant margin. Now the players are gone, and like the fan base didn't stay, right? Like, so there may be like 1 or 2 diehards. Like, there's Hey Shay that still pretty much likes the Squeeze, but besides that, like, the fan base
she's
kind of
just
left.
a DTF fan, I feel like.
Yeah, that's true.
Dylan Frazier fan. Stan.
She's yes. So I'm not sure, like, what's going to happen in 2 years, and can the New York Hustlers say, hey, we're going to try now in 3 years now, and no one's going to care that we didn't try for 2 years.
Yeah, I think like people are players fans at this point, right? Like, I think we're getting closer to, as there is a little bit more continuity, I think you might sort of start to develop that sort of association with your team. Like, I think we're probably in a unique situation because we've got like kind of Gary V fans on the Fives that like are just Fives fans. We might actually be somewhat of an anomaly there, right? I do think for the most part they're player fans. So yeah, you might be right, but eliminating half the league, I don't think we need it.
Yeah, I mean, I know we're never going to do it because teams have paid into it, but there's got to be a way to solve the parity. And so I think incentive for winning is important, and incentive for building a fan base is important. And then also a way to get better. So, like, if you think about it, you had, that Ben Johns trade that blew everybody's minds. And it's like, all right, did this trade help build capital for a future move from this team? In every other sport, a team trades their best player, not just to save money, but draft picks, right? So that they can build for the future. So we need to be able to, as fans, be able to see those moves and realize that if I tank, it's not just for more money, it's because I'm trying to build for the future.
Yeah, rebuilding rather than just like straight up tanking. I'm with you.
But, honestly, the MLP season was fantastic. So I'm still in. So you guys run it back. You guys add even more premier teams. I'm still going to watch, and I think a lot of people are too. But Zane, another thing I wanted to talk to you about. So my favorite pundit, Jim Kloss, he had a tweet, and I had to have it sent to me by somebody else because I'm, of course, blocked.
Wait, hold on. You got to tell us that story. How'd you get blocked by Jimmy?
So this is like the Nico's come up on Twitter. I think this is how I decided that I was going to start posting, more often, was when the last year's draft happened, right? When you formed all the teams, the shock, as we know it, are the shock, etc. He was a huge proponent of your guy Jack Monroe, and I was like on CJ Klinger Island, right? And so CJ got picked like with one of the last picks in the draft for $1,000, a lefty, right? And so Jim Kloss kind of went off on, hey, this is a bad decision. Jack's so much better. CJ's not ready for this. CJ, who was, challenger level MVP,
Right.
18-year-old prodigy. And so in my head, I'm like, okay, one, this is a crazy take. And so I just like laser focused in on CJ for like a 2-month span. And anytime he did anything positive in his life, I was like, look at this, Jim Kloss. Look at this. I was like, I'm watching APP from a live stream on Instagram Live just to make sure that I can see that CJ Klinger is winning his matches and Jack is not progressing as far as CJ. And honestly, it was kind of a toss up at the APP at that time. But I got so annoying that I think he probably rightfully blocked me. And I'm sure he doesn't like to hear from anybody, especially a no name like me at the time. Hey, your take is idiotic.
That's impressive though, because I feel like a lot of people like to clap at Jim Kloss, but to get blocked, you must have been doing some real work.
Yeah, I'm relentless. So when I have a bee in my bonnet, I'm like, all right, we're gonna make this guy pay. But
That reminds me of the farmer meme. It ain't much, but it's honest work.
yeah. But I still get sent stuff by him all the time, and I see this tweet that says, "I will be putting out the official UPA approved all MLP teams after the regular season closes." Right, so it's like the pickleball version of NFL All Pro or All NBA. And first off, I bookmarked that because I just thought, so Zane, I'm not sure. Do you vote on this? Like, does Jim Kloss have the official say of the UPA on who the all MLP teams are? Like, why is he connected there, or like what's happening? Do you know?
I've got to guess that was a joke. I could be wrong. I don't think he's in charge of this. That's got to be a joke. The official UPA approved. I think this is just Kloss's this is just Kloss's take on who the top teams are.
Well, okay, that makes sense because maybe it's Kloss's take on a joke, which just totally went right through my head. I didn't know he was capable of that. But, do some digging. I was like, if this is actually UPA approved, that's crazy. But congratulations, Kloss, for either, running one by me or making a joke or actually being the UPA approved all MLP team. But so he put together a list that I actually haven't looked at yet today. But I want to talk with you. All right. So I wanted to put together a first team and second team all MLP with you. And the way that I want to do that is I want you to pick 2 males, 2 females, and a coach for a first team and a second team. And I went through this exercise like for like 2 hours in my head last night and into this morning because I'm not sure I can pick 2 females. And so I want to put you on the hot seat, Zane. If you had to pick 2 women to be on your all MLP team, who did it for you this year?
I mean, it's got to be Georgia and AL. Like Anna Bright's obviously up there as well, but she's not winning quite as much as those two. Georgia was top of the standings in games won percentage, obviously on the one of the top teams. Anna Lee, second to Georgia. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a clear one. Anna Lee and Georgia. What about you?
All right, so to me, it was those 3, and then Maddie Pickles came in and brought Tyra to my attention as well as a potential kind of like dark horse. Because if you're looking at Tyra and Georgia plays the right, Tyra's playing the left. Is that more valuable in women's? Is she carrying a heavier load? She didn't have
Yeah.
the wins, but is she more valuable in women's doubles than Georgia is?
Oh, is this just women's doubles or women? Because it's
Women.
interesting. Women.
Yeah. So I'm talking about women in general, but I'm just saying, like, if you think about Georgia and Tyra, right? Georgia gets to play with JW, her normal mixed
Right.
doubles partner, they are the number 2 team in PPA. So they should win pretty much every one of their matches anyway. So I kind of like, all right, yeah, you're good, but
Right.
let's
So
look at women.
Tyra is playing line 2 mixed. She's playing with the weaker player. Not like obviously she and Augie gel very well, but she's 9th in the standings, even though she's playing that dominant side with Georgia in women's and playing with the weaker men for mixed. So I mean that's a decent argument. nuanced, right? Very in the know. The numbers would support AL and Georgia, but like I see where you're coming from on Tyra.
Yeah, and it's tough. What's tough for me also is just like not putting Anna Bright in one of those top 2 spots. Like her team was the best team in the regular season, had a fantastic record, and I'm not sure if, out of the 3 women, Tyra, Megan, Dazan, and Kate Fahey, who gives that, Anna Lee or Georgia or Anna Bright more of a boost, right? Like, who's carrying the most load in those women's matches? Who's carrying the most load in those mixed matches? And the thing I think about is like, for me, Anna Bright, I can't kind of like separate the wins that she provides her direct partnerships, but also like the wins that I feel like somehow passes on to her team just by being on the team. So it's just like, I didn't think that there was going to be a world where Anna Bright was not in the first team kind of all MLP, but she might not be.
Yeah, but I mean, there's only 2, so that's tough, right? That's very tough. I'm going with the numbers of Georgia and Anna Lee. Obviously, Anna Bright's very, very close behind, and yeah, but I'm going with the numbers. What do you got for men's from your side?
Okay. So, I'm a Shock fan, and I'm trying
Oh,
not
we
to be
know.
trying not to be a huge homer here, but I'm going to go Gabe and Hayden as the 2 men that I would put on first team all MLP.
I'm going, the numbers support Patrick Smith and Grayson Golden. 1 and 2 in the standings, 100% win percentage. Dude, all right, sidebar. Grayson, we lost to them yesterday. He was fucking electric yesterday, dude. He was like, I'm like banging on the side trying to get the green Dream Breaker chant going. He's just like talking to me. He's like, no, I don't want a Dream Breaker, Zane. I don't want a Dream Breaker. I'm like yelling to the crowd. I'm like, Dream. They're like, Breaker, Dream, Breaker. And Grayson just comes over and quietly is like, Zane, I don't want to go to a Dream Breaker. and he was out there just going nuts on the court too, and like just finger wagging 2-0. So obviously, Grayson Golden on the left, Pat Smith on the right, both 100% win percentage, MVP first team on my end. But if I had to give you a serious answer, I think that's reasonable, right? Like Hayden and Gabe together made the number 1 men's team by a long shot. And then both of them are in the top handful of the standings and good mixed records as well for the team that's number 1 in the standings. I think that's reasonable.
Dude, my question for you is, I just want to think about PPA for a second here. If Hayden and Gabe played PPA for a whole year, would they be the number 1 team in PPA?
That's tough because that takes Gabe away from Ben, right? So that's like, who then does Ben partner up with? Is it Ben and Andre? Like, very different styles there. I would say they're going to win a good amount of tournaments. I think potentially Ben and Andre, or potentially Ben and somebody, but I think that'd be pretty neck and neck.
Yeah, I think, you put Ben and Christian. I always want to see that happen. I'm not sure if that would ever happen, but yeah, to me, it's just like, I mean, one is their swagger in MLP is like unmatched. They're these guys that just, go for the throat all the time. And I love the fact that Hayden is this guy that, to me, it's like, he doesn't give a shit about anybody. And it seems like Gabe doesn't give a shit about anything. It's just like they go out there with like nothing to lose. Like the way it was described to me one time, which I thought was fantastic, is Hayden and Gabe are those 2 guys that show up to a bar and make fun of the 23-year-old for being too old. Like, what the F are you doing here, you old bastard? Like, and they just have this unlimited energy. Like, they're just like the coolest guys ever. And it resonates with me. And I think that's why a lot of people hate them as well. But they got not only are they, I think, MVPs on the court, but they were like built for MLP. Fantastic.
Wow, I don't know if anybody has ever glazed harder on this podcast, dude. You're literally like knocking the desk up from underneath, like right now. Put it away, dude. Jesus. Like, wow.
Oh my gosh.
That was
Uh,
yeah, wow. You want me to introduce you to these guys? Like, what's going on here?
oh my gosh. Wow. I'm gonna have to watch that back and just I'm almost embarrassed for myself right now.
You should be, dude. Put it away. Oh my goodness.
So
I didn't disagree with anything, but wow, like that monologue was just something else on here.
oh my gosh, I just want them to be my friends. Um,
Yeah.
uh,
All right. So like, I think that they're first team. Interesting thing is like of the top 10, I'm gonna obviously take out Marcella, Pat, and Grayson, even though they're all undefeated. Which like, so, I mean, we need to have like a minimum amount of matches to be like even considered on the standings here. I feel like. But like after that, it's all the women. It's Georgia, Anna Lee, Anna, Tyra, Kate. Not after all that, then we get into Will Howells, Rachel Rohrbacher, J-Dub, Jackie, Jade, finally Deckel. Like, there's not very many men because like the men's doubles seems to be pretty good parity. You got Andre next, Federico afterwards. Yeah, the standings are pretty top heavy for the women this year.
oh yeah,
Um,
that's just to me. It's interesting. It's like for sure, all the best teams are dominant women, right? If you look at pretty much all the playoff teams, and if you look at all the teams in men's that were good, like if you were to ask me who's going to be the best men's team this year, I probably would have said Andre and CJ, or at least they would have been up there. And they're winning a good amount of matches, but like they lose all the time, right? Like they lose all the time. J Dub and Augie lose all the time. Like besides Hayden and Gabe, I got you guys. Everybody else is losing. Ben, Christian, everybody, right? And so that's interesting to me. But then you see the top women, like the pairing of Rachel, and oh my gosh, Jade, Jackie. Now I'm gonna. I promised
Bro,
myself I wouldn't
stop.
bring up
How can
either
you
of the
be this much
Kawamotos.
of a St. Louis stan and not know the Jade Jackie combo?
I get
Unbelievable.
I get stage fright, and as soon as I think about it, I'm like, I don't remember which one's on the Mad Drops and which
Hey,
one's on.
just say Kawamoto. That's what I go with.
Okay. You got them.
Keep it
You have,
ambiguous.
you have the Shock team. You have Anna Lee and Megan. Like, yeah, those are all the teams that are the best teams, regardless of how good their males are. The females seem to carry an MLP, which is way different than what it was 2 years ago when I think Ben was able to carry an MLP team, on his own. When you had the Pioneers with Ben and Tyler Loon, and they're still able to win a championship. That's not happening in 2025.
Yeah, yeah. Second team might be an actually more interesting conversation here. Like? If I'm going women's second team, I'm going Anna and Tyra. Like Anna and Tyra would be an electric combo for men's. I've got to go Willie and probably J-Dub. Right? Again, it's top heavy because of the performance, but like, yeah, Willie and J-Dub for second team. Who do you have?
I think, and pains me to say it because I know the number one fan on Riley Newman Island is Jim Kloss, but I might put Riley Newman in my second team all men. I put him, and then I would probably put J Dub. Those got to be the two for me. To me, it's like Riley came in, I believe, kind of with lower expectations, and then we had they dealt with injuries all year, and Declan wasn't able to play, and he was still able to produce at such a high clip with an on-site substitute for like half the
Right.
year. So I think what he was able to do with the situation he was in, and how many matches he was able to win in mixed as well, I give it to Riley.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable, but I don't think Riley beat many of those top teams. He got all of his wins seemingly against the bottom sort of tier, right? Like, uh, didn't match up well against the top tier, and I think that Willie and I and just Willie and AL beat a good chunk of the good team. So Riley was doing his work with the sub, of course, like AJ, and AJ obviously playing very well. But if you look at the percentage wins, you got 62 for Riley, and then you're up at 75 for Will. Obviously, Will playing with better partners, but also getting wins against some of those better teams. But I think that's a reasonable pick. I think he's somebody who's certainly like overperformed, and I like giving a little bit of grace for that.
Yeah, it's interesting. I always say I think nobody made worse career choices over a 2-year span or year and a half span than Riley Newman, going from changing his paddle sponsor from a paddle company to a water bottle company to holdouts to
Hey, we're at least back at a paddle company. That's good.
Yeah,
We're back with Pro
exactly. So
XR. We
it's Pro
came
XR.
full circle.
Oh my goodness. It's so funny. And I'm glad he's at Pro XR. I actually had like a 30-minute debate with my brother yesterday about who the face of Pro XR is. And we're like, is it Zane? Is Zane the face of Pro XR? I think Zane, Riley Newman came in and was going to have a signature paddle. I'm not sure where that is, but you guys got quite a group over there at Pro XR. Like it's come a long way from the paddle with the goofy handle. But
This is true. Hey,
but
look, I don't use the goofy handle. The Pro XR handle actually makes like a crazy amount of sense if you don't change your grip. Like if you do not change your grip, that handle is incredible. I changed my grip a ton. Most amateurs should not be changing their grip. I think most amateurs should be using a Pro XR grip. Like legit piece of advice. So
the Pro XR handle is like shooting free throws underhand in the NBA. Like it statistically is more effective, but it is so ugly that you just can't bring yourself to do it. No offense to Pro XR, no, but no. So I didn't even know they still made those. But yeah,
no,
anyway,
it's more the optic, right? Like it looks funky, and most people just
yeah,
won't commit to that. But it's just like the underhand free throw looks funky. Like, but if you really are serious about your performance, it's like the better way to go.
it's better. Yeah. All right. So Zane, who do you have for GM/coach of the year?
Ooh. All right, I am going to go the hottest of hot takes, and I'm going to go Ryan DeWidgeon. Ryan DeWidgeon from the Texas Ranchers. The like not the most enormous budget. I think Eric Unseen's was a good move, a good draft pick. Got better throughout the year. Like performed pretty well given their budgetary constraints. He was actually their top performer on that team. The Edda trade, he gets roasted for it. Good trade. The Ranchers before this weekend were winless in Dream Breakers. In order to win in the playoffs, you're not going to get 3-1s. You need to be able to win in a Dream Breaker. He also helped Caitlin Christian play better, I think. So Caitlin Christian fit in well with the Ranchers. And then the icing on the cake, he had the balls to bench Christian Alshon this weekend. Christian performance in Dallas, not to his standard, seemed to be pulling trigger. It seemed weird. It was weird. The vibes were off. It was weird. Having the sack to stand up to your top player, Ryan DeWidgeon, give this GM of the year for me.
Yeah, you have no argument for me there. I think I basically roasted every single one of his moves when they happened, but he was willing to pull the trigger, and in the end, like they seemed to all work out, right? So like trading Noe for Erik was I immediately was like, I don't understand what's happening here. I swear I saw a season of the Miami Pickleball Club and the Noe was better, right? But Erik performed extremely well, and he's like a dominant force in mixed. What he's able to do in mixed is crazy. And Ryan, what's interesting also is like he is not afraid, right? And so I think like that's like what you want in a GM or a coach. And so I see him like I'm not sure. Like I know Ryan is a good pickleball player, right? But I see him coaching in the middle of matches, and I'm just thinking, man, like he's willing to tell this person, hey, try this, hey, do this. This is what's working. This is what's not working. Like he gives feedback to his team all the time, warms up with his team, and so I think you're right. And I mean, everybody wants to, say, it would be Julie Johnson or Lee Waters, who are fantastic. But I think Ryan went out on a limb like 3 different times to try something different because his team wasn't good enough. And that's the thing. And that's why I also think, whether or not the no-way trade is fantastic or not, or what you like or don't like about it, like the Fives went, I think we need to do something, right? Like, let's try something. Like, let's be willing to shake something up, right? And so Zane, like, I still think about like in the playoffs, there might be a time when you're playing or Mari's playing or whatever, but like you guys made moves and didn't just sit with, we are pretty good. We're number 3. That's good enough. And I think Ryan DeWidgeon did the same thing where he wasn't happy with good enough.
Yeah, I mean, actually, I think there's an argument to be made that Miami as well, Johnny Goldberg, and so this is going to be a controversial one, but they're a very low budget team. They also came up from Challenger League last year, got rid of or traded Eric Onseen's for Noe Cleef. Some of that could be monetary, right? Like so on. Yeah, some of that could be monetary. Noe had a solid year with Miami before traded to us, right? I don't know. This is more complicated because I don't know, you know, where necessarily the trade decisions are coming from. He also seemed like he was being told to offload some players for money. And so if that's the case and he made money, he accomplished certain objectives. But like, I think the picking up Yuta was a smart one. Like he got, I guess he was more potentially GM of the second half of last year, picking Noe and Erik and having both of those players pan out. Millie playing well, Maya probably not performing the way that he would, or moving up the way that he would have expected. But to claw into a playoff with coming up from Challenger League and not a tremendous budget, pretty solid.
Yeah, I think so too. I did not pick them to make the playoffs. I put them in like a 3-way tie with the so-called Hard Eights and the New York Hustlers at the beginning of the year of teams that had no shot. And I think they proved a lot of people wrong.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. So Zane, I have a couple more here for you. We've gone through, first team, so second team, GM and coach. I have a couple other awards that are not going to be on Jim Kloss's UPA approved MLP official list.
No, Nico, this is what the people want.
But yeah, so we're going to go through a couple more here. So Zane, I want to get your take. We have the 3 inaugural awards here. The first one is the Ben Johns Teammate of the Year Award. And this goes out to the player that builds up his team or her team the most, that accounts for wins outside of their play, whether it be coaching, attitude, strategy, whatnot. Who is the best teammate in all of MLP?
Okay, so Ben John's teammate of the okay, so we're looking for the best teammate, not the worst teammate.
Not the worst teammate. This is going to be the best teammate.
I don't want to toot my own horn. I'd put myself in that conversation. I think Anna Bright's somebody who always gets the most out of her team. Anna Lee is somebody who over the last year and a half I've got to know has really surprised me as well of how good of a teammate she is. I think Hunter is a great bit of glue in that Mad Drops team. Let's see, looking through these standings, I feel like I'm missing some people. I don't know who else. Who do you have? I think those are my nominees. I'll let you pick one from there.
Yeah, so I'm going to give you a couple others that I think were great.
No, I'm
One,
missing some.
so I think Erik Onsens is another player that's like lights a fire, extremely great team player, right? And like
Oh,
his
dude,
energy.
no, hold on, chill. Blaine,
All
I'm
right.
going Blaine. Blaine,
Okay.
teammate of the year. That guy, like electric, fires everybody on that team up. Blaine.
That I'm embarrassed that I didn't think about Blaine immediately. I was there at MLP Dallas, and the right here, right now, the come-ons, the high fives, the claps. Dude, that dude plays every single match like it's in a dream breaker, and he's on the best team playing against the second best team of MLP in the finals, right? Like every point's amazing. He's like the perfect guy for Ryan Fu, right? He's like, we're doing this. You're the best, right? And the last thing that Ryan Fu needs to hear is that he's the best. But he gets to hear it all the time from Blaine because that's the kind of teammate he is. And what was great was that they decided like, okay, we're also going to bring on, some youth, some extreme youth on our team, and like the person that can keep them like mentally, strong was Blaine. So yeah, there's no brain.
Yeah,
Crazy.
free money. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
gonna be my teammate of the year award recipient.
Yeah, I think you guys need to play some PPAs together.
We're going to.
Alright.
I think we're gonna play some next year. Yeah, I like B money.
Good. Perfect. Awesome. All right. So the next award we got here is the Leia Jansen Here for a Good Time, Not a Long Time Award. And to just to set
Is
this
that
up.
in reference to her? Oh, okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Yes. So you're probably right on board. This is in reference to Leia's Twitter presence or her online presence. Is if you know Leia from Twitter or anywhere, maybe even Facebook as well, once every 6 months she comes in with like a hug in the night and she just drops bombs on everybody, right? And she's roasting everybody, holding everybody accountable, saying whatever she wants. And then 6 days later, you go to find her and her account's deleted. So Leia makes everybody's online life a little scary, a little bit more awesome. And then all of a sudden, like a flash in the night, she's gone. So this is the award for either the best sub or best like flash performance that you saw in MLP this year.
It's probably recency bias, but I feel like I'm going Grayson Golden coming in for the last match of the year against the Fives to upset us, winning 2 matches, coming down from 6-10 against Willie and Noe, and then beating Will and Mari in that electric meaningless match at the end of the season. Like, he was just here for a good time, not a long time. 2-0 on the season, top of the player standings. I'm going Grayson Golden. Now, he's not gone anywhere, but like that's the extent of his MLP at this point. Yeah, who do you got?
Well, first off, I'm just going to say it was incredible to watch somebody be able to bag somebody with a drive from the baseline. How hard does that guy hit? Like, is it the hardest you see? It seemed like a constant fireball anytime he was hitting a drive.
Yeah, his drive is harder by 10, 15, 20% than probably James Ignatowicz's hardest drive, and James is probably the next hardest hitter. Now, it's so hard or difficult, I should say, because like we're playing in Salt Lake. Even if that ball is an inch over the net, it's probably going to go out. He does hit it spinny. He hits it heavy, but like it's impossible to even get out of the way of those shots. They're line drives, within 6 inches of the net height. Oh man, those things were absolute rocket ships. It sounded like a gunshot going out in the pickler.
I was nervous for you guys. I live in like Salt Lake elevation. I'm in Reno, Nevada, and so it's the same thing every time we play. The ball flies. Obviously, I don't hit this hard as Grayson, but it's like for me, it was like when the Gearbox Pro Power first came out, and you get drives from some people, and you would have to decide like I'm going to hit this ball or not hit this ball before he swings.
Right.
Because I don't have time to react. I can't. You're not going to hear out from anybody, and you're not going to be able to move your paddle out of the way. So you're just like, all right, I know it's coming. I just got to hit something, right? But it was crazy to see. So yeah, I think that's a good choice. And with Grayson, one thing that I thought that was interesting is like I was never a big fan because when the stakes are high, he's a little bit more serious, it seems like. But this was like the perfect example of like where a little bit of like that Blaine energy came off on Grayson, and he was having the time of his life. And like I am all for excited, fun Grayson. I hope to see more of that next year.
Agreed. Yeah,
But
he's
the
electric.
other
He's electric. If he can keep that going, he's electric.
Oh my goodness! For me, I think was the Flash at MLP Phoenix? Not the Flash, sorry, the Fives. Were you guys? Sorry,
No,
you
we
guys,
weren't.
not the Flash.
We weren't.
No, okay. So maybe you saw this, but I think my favorite like flash in the pan moment was when Alex Walker got to play for the Phoenix Flames. She played like 2 games, subbed in for I think Jeannie, and like the home crowd expected nothing, but was like, if there is one place that like roots for their own, like Phoenix is like, if you remember when Augie was on the come up and him and Tyra were in PPA Phoenix, like the crowd goes nuts. And so for one glorious game, I think against the LA Mad Drops, her and Jack Stock ended up beating, I want to say it was Hunter. I'm trying to remember who she beat exactly. Alex and Jack beat Catherine and Spencer Smith. I get that they're playing with a sub, but smoked them 11-2. The crowd was going absolutely nuts. And that was after she had a pretty good showing with Jesse and Alex against Jade and Catherine. So after that, it kind of fizzled out. I'm not sure how much more she played the rest of the season, but
she did towards the end because of the Jeannie and Jesse dispute. So Alex played a good chunk towards the end of the year. She's actually playing everything when Jeannie was playing half and Jesse was playing half.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. So she was there, and that's probably when the Phoenix Flames were no longer on my must-watch list.
Right.
After they decided what was priority number one for them. They flamed out. The only person that anybody was watching on that team was their GM.
Right. Yeah,
but,
I really
yeah.
so Dallas was the first event that I got benched, and I really was like, man, I probably need to be a little bit more serious because, the playoff picture wasn't entirely set. Every match means something but I really wanted to show up in an outfit similar to his, show up with the clipboard and just have the Phoenix, like the dumpster fire logo, that one, the dumpster that's on fire. Like that would have said enough. If I cosplayed him, that would have been electric, but I wussed out.
You should have done it. I mean, there's always time. But
I agree with me
yeah.
and you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, if you did that, you still would like be more professional than probably half of players that are on the bench. Like I remember in MLP Dallas, I see Roscoe just chilling in flip flops, and I'm just like, okay, like he's never coming in. He's not even ready. And I think in the middle of the match of the fives, I'm just like chilling. Also in Dallas, and I swear Mario Humberg is eating like a bowl of Chipotle, and I'm just like, all right, fueling up for playing. Maybe I don't know what's happening, but it's definitely not like locked and ready to go. But I would love to see next year change it up to where subs can come in like anytime, or at least like,
I agree.
especially at 3-0, put that sub in.
Or at least find them if their dogs are out on the court. Like, I think if anybody ever sees somebody's bare toes on a pickleball court, Samin needs to find them. I think that should be a finable offense. Nobody needs to see the dogs on the pickleball court, no matter how bad they're barking, Nico.
I like it.
Yeah, fine. Honestly, that might be my first executive order as president. I'm doling out fines for anybody that has the dogs out on the pickleball court. I think that's
That's probably a
bipartisan.
good idea.
I
Yeah,
think there's probably a
if
few
the-
people on the internet that like probably do want, some feet, but I don't represent them.
You don't represent the
They're
foot
not
stuff people.
they're not part of my constituency.
No, absolutely not. It's a fringe packed rogue agency.
All right, I think we got one more, and then we'll probably have to wrap this up. So
All right. So here's one here, and if we have time for another, I'll get it at the very end. But the other one I have is the Jericho Grohlman "You Guys Are a Joke" award.
wow,
And
that
do you
is
remember-
really niche.
You gotta play that clip.
No way! There's no way! That's so in! You guys are unbelievable! You guys are a joke! Not you, CJ, but he is!
Just the greatest moment, the greatest crash out I think in PPA history, in my opinion, is when Jericho's playing against James and CJ, and he's like, "This is unbelievable! You guys are a joke!" He's like, "Not you, CJ, but him." My gosh, he just storms off the court in the Masters on match point on a bad line call, possibly. But this award goes out to who had the biggest crash out or blow up or non-play altercation of the year. What was the best like memes of pickleball worthy moment of the year?
Wow. For some reason, I feel like there's what are some of them that come to mind for you? Because I feel like I'm blanking right now. I feel like there's a bunch of them, but
I mean,
like,
here's some moment. Here's some moments that I'm sure that are on memes of
what are the
pickleball. One,
nominees? Yeah.
all right, so you have the altercation with Annalie Waters and Hayden. All right.
Okay. Yeah, that was a good one.
You have when Michelle Escovel flipped off Pablo.
I like that.
And then I'm not sure what happened there after that. For me, I'm not sure this is necessarily the same as I just keep thinking about a bunch of these different bags. If there was a best baggable moment, but it's hard. I'm trying to think about other ones that happened.
Yeah, there's got to be
Uh,
some like big paddle smashes. Were there any? Well, there was Zane Ford, but that was PPA. I feel like Donald Young was throwing around paddles. Honestly, I might go Donald Young because like we never saw him again after that. After he basically like walked off the court in New York and Eric Forsyth came in, wasn't really like a crash out, but like he's just kind of done after that. He just said like,
what happened? He's just like, I'm no longer. I give up. I'm done. Like, F this team.
I think he's got a. He might be injured, but it also seems like he maybe got burnt out or something. We don't really know what the Donald Young situation is.
Oof. You also got that Jesse and
Yeah,
Jeannie feud.
Jesse
There's
Genie had to have been the most high profile. Yeah, that's a good point. I think it's got to be the Jesse simply leaving San Clemente.
Yeah, that's probably that's a good one. I still think I'm going to combine the two Annalie moments. The one where she is having the best argument with her mom. I think like either in a Dream Breaker. I'm trying to remember which match it was, but she's just going at it with Lee, and this happens like once a year. It's always fun to watch. I think it's the commentator's favorite thing to do is just zoom in on that.
I actually just I haven't seen this. Where do you remember where this was?
Oh my goodness. It was either at the midseason tournament or I want to say, or you guys weren't at St. Louis, were you? It had to be the midseason
We're
tournament then.
in St. Louis, and it was a Dream Breaker.
I'm trying to remember if it was a dream breaker or not. She's just her mom, Lee's given her advice, and she's basically, I think, dropping repeated F-bombs like, this isn't working. I don't know, blah, blah, blah. I'm trying this, I'm trying that. And like, I think Anna Lee, what doesn't work for her happens like once every like 50 games. And so she's always a good candidate for a crash out when that finally does happen to her.
Huh. I actually I have no idea. I know they get into some heated discussions on the sidelines sometimes. Um, yeah, man, they like to they give it back and forth to one another. I think it's just like the way that they, you know, communicate from time to time when things get fired up. But it's interesting. I like they don't carry beef. Like they're very, very close. I'd be very curious to see that clip because I genuinely have heard about it but don't know it. Yeah. So I'm going the Jesse, the Jesse just leaving. I feel like that's solid, but I feel like the Annalie Hayden deal was solid too.
That's true. Dude, that was the funniest thing I'd seen. And I'm like, I never know with all these people that like live in Florida, like how close they are. Like, are these situations where you can just be like, F you, and then immediately like you guys are chill like a day later, Or is it one of those situations where it's like, all right, we don't talk to each other anymore?
I think people play it cool, but like I think that sticks with you. Like if you've got to blow up at somebody on the court one way or another, and Hayden started it, so Hayden did start it. I thought, well, I won't get into it. I already gave my opinion on that, but I think you can say that it's all good, but like that sticks with you.
Oh yeah, I mean, if I got called an F and B, I wouldn't forget it. Zane, before we leave, I have one last one for you. This is in your honor. We have the last award is the Zane Navratil Fifth Man of the Year award, and that goes to the best sub in MLP. Who is the best sub?
Oh, AJ Kohler for sure. AJ Kohler like played like more than a full season. I'm pretty sure. Like, wait, let's find his.
Yeah. How many teams did Kohler play on? It was at least 3, right? He played
Wait a
on the
minute.
Mad Drops, the Hustlers. He played on the Brooklyn Pickleball
AJ
Team Club.
isn't in the standings because he's not on a roster. So I can't even look AJ up in the standings right now. But like he played like potentially more than a full season because he was the alternate for like every event. So yeah, it's AJ Kohler without a doubt. And the fact that he's not even on a challenger roster is the wildest thing because he was solid at Premier.
To me, I was wondering, is like, is there something where AJ is like, look, I just want to be a sub and do not draft me. I'm not going to be on your team. I'm not going to put my foot down and be like, I'm only playing subs because I don't want any of the pressure of long-term relationship. I'm just going to go have fun, play with Riley, and be the super sub. I don't know, but I mean, AJ, it was unbelievable. I'm just like, why is this guy not a staple of MLP? But I think the only other option that you have there is our guy Erik Lang. Like the dude is like, he is like the Blaine Hovenier of subs, like super nice guy, super rah, super excited. And my one memory of him throughout the whole year was I was in MLP Dallas and I was on my way to my seat, and all the shock players are going to the bathroom, changing, whatever. They're in like that players area right off the side. And dude is holding like 50 paddles in his hands, just like waiting outside the bathroom with a smile on his face. I'm just like, what a nice guy. Like this guy is doing anything that the team asks of him. Like he doesn't need to be the paddle holder, but he's the paddle holder with a smile. And so like, get this guy in a game. Like if they play their first round match against some team that they're going to smoke, put Erik Lang in the game. He deserves at least one match this year.
Holy shit, dude. I think that you took over Brooks as the number one St. Louis Shock stan. Like, I feel like, yeah, I don't even know what to say. Like, I started tuning out when you just went on your soapbox about the St. Louis Shock again, dude. I don't know if this segment's gonna work out if you just come stand for the for the St. Louis Shock every time. But I love Daddy Lang as much as the next guy, but like have some class on this fucking podcast, all right? Have a little bit of class, all right? This is a classy podcast.
All right, I'll do. I can't glaze the shuck anymore, and to be quite honest, I
Can
still
you at
can't.
least give it a little bit of a veil? Like, I just don't need monologues about the shock, Nico.
Ugh, this is a lot to ask. I'm gonna have to like take a cold shower and
No, you're gonna
think
have to
about
look
what I've done.
inwards. You're gonna have to look
Yeah.
inwards. What led you to this point in your life where where you seek gratification by glazing a professional pickleball team?
Oof. I'm gonna try. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna see if I can go the exact opposite, and I'm gonna see the next time I'm on if I can glaze the New Jersey fives. Like if I can do that, I can do anything.
You don't need to do that
so
either.
If I can say,
I'm not asking for that. I'm just asking for you to put your pecker away for the shock.
oh my gosh, I'm gonna do my best. I'm
Anyway.
deleting my accounts, unfriending all of them. So
I can't think of a better way to wrap up than that. Can you?
yeah, no, Nico, put your pecker away, and we'll see you next time.
Yes. Well, anyway, that was Nico the Lefty on Twitter. Last time we got him from 200 followers all the way up to 400. So go check him out on Twitter at Nico the Lefty for your hourly shock glazing tweets.
Thanks, Zane.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie,